for you. I'm still searching for you. From dirt to the sky, I'm still searching for you. 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 I'm still from dirt to the sky. I'm still searching for you.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
You disgust me.
Who gives a shit?
Go on.
I made it the fuck up.
I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. It's glorious.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Shoe T-shirted historian. And yes, I'm having so much fun. So all my antibiotics apparently have decided, hey, we're not only going to kill the bad bacteria that's affecting your lungs and stuff, but we're going to kill all the bacteria in your gut too. So it's like, you know, I've got like a slip and slide going on in my asshole right now. That's really fun.
Yay!
So, yay!
Made it fun.
Uh-huh. Yep. So that's always fun. Hey, it's Driving and Dragons. Driving and Dragons. Daniel, do you want to come to the show tonight? Do you want a link? I will send you a link. You can get on. You can act knowledgeable and hang out with the geeks. I will let you. Savo, you've always got an open invitation, but, you know, I know you don't want to come on, so. But the invitation is there, so. But it's good to see y'all. Oh my gosh, we've got so many fun things going on. Apparently, after one weekend versus Snow White 3 week and $169 million, the Minecraft movie has destroyed it in one weekend. We knew it would.
It is really insane to see just how successful this movie's doing. Like, I didn't think it was going to be quite this big. Like,
Oh my god, yeah, I knew it would be.
I thought it was going to be popular, but I didn't think it was going to be like Avengers big.
I did, because all the kids I've spoken to were all just on board with it. They all want to see the Minecraft movie. The only thing... Actually, you know what would be the smart move right now? I tell you what. If Epic was to go and do a Fortnite movie, it would do huge, massive amounts right now.
You know, I would criticize that but given just the Lego movie did well, you could easily turn it into an IP like smorgasbord.
Mm-hmm. I mean, all they got to do is do like all they got to do for Fortnite is do like zombie mode and build mode and stuff like that, and have a couple of stupid, high profile actors on it, like The Rock or somebody.
Well, I mean,
they would rake in the cash.
There's a sort of narrative going throughout it of just like it keeps resetting, so you got to keep going back into it, which is kind of the overall narrative arc. But hopefully they get a better audience than the ones in this clip I got for you. T-shirt.
I've seen this clip. Yeah, I love this clip. I've heard about this. I mean, people are literally losing their minds at the chicken jockey.
I have never been happier not to understand the reference in my entire life than that moment.
The chicken jockey? Yeah. I'm not sure I understand it either, but it's amazing. I mean, it's like they actually called the cops because the riot was so big in one of the theaters from all that.
I don't want to waste popcorn like that. Like, I'm not going to eat that entire bag, but I'm not about to waste my popcorn, man. I need my
popcorn's fucking expensive, man. Why would you waste it out there? But yeah, there's that. Since I've only got 2 people watching? What? Only 2 people? Only 2 people are watching me. Bob the Odd, did you run away? Oh, no, there's 4. Okay, never mind. I've got 4. I feel better now. I actually have a little bit of traction tonight. That's good. Because we have some fun stuff. I know you guys probably don't want to hear about Minecraft, but it's topical. It's part of our geekdom pop culture stuff.
And the thing is, like, it's not made for us. It's made for a younger audience. It's going to have their own taste. At the end of the day, I hope they get the movie they want. The fans, the diehards, the 15-year-olds, all those kids who love this thing, they're getting exactly what they want, and I can't fault it there. Like, I got the stuff I wanted as growing up.
Oh my gosh, it's Mercurius for Australian $3 who sends us a super sticker. Thank you very much, Mercurius. You are the guy who makes sure that I get paid every 6 or 7 months. I appreciate you, man. I really do. I love donations. I don't get them very often, but when I do, I usually get them from Mercurius, and I'm glad I can count on him. Thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate you. My gosh. I feel like I can't do a bitches leave because I have too few people on here already. So just to say my thank you, I'm going to give you a Prague reference.
Say, you wouldn't by any chance be Mike Milligan and the Kitchen Brothers, would you?
You make us sound like a prog rock band. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Mike Milligan and the Kitchen Brothers. Double whoops.
I love that. I love Fargo, man. I love Fargo.
Oh yeah,
I totally do. Oh yeah, yeah. It's hard not to enjoy. I mean, I love the original movie. I love the series. Billy Bob Thornton completely stole that first season like nobody's business as Lorne Malvo. I mean, he was the reason I kept watching it, pretty much. So.
Oh, geez, I hope you get that killer.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He's making quite a mess of things, I tell you.
And when you get that all taken care of, we'll make sure we bring the hot dish by.
Oh, yeah, we likes that hot dish, we do. Well, and speaking of shows, okay, so this was a surprise. I was not expecting this, but 1923 ended this Sunday. Gary Nerdrotic's already gone up and posted his video about it, so you can go watch that, or you can listen to me talk about it for a couple of minutes. And if you haven't, let me tell you what, man. I'm just going to say this, okay? The Taylor Sheridan stuff is the best reason to get Paramount Plus. Honestly, I mean, I'm at this point, I'm pretty sure that is the main reason anybody subscribes to Paramount Plus, because you sure as hell aren't watching the Star Trek shit. But, what?
Oh, I was just saying, and it's a shame because at the end of the day, Paramount has some really good stuff on there, but half the stuff just doesn't get noticed. Like, I adored the remake of Frasier when that came out, and unfortunately, like, after 2 seasons, there wasn't enough attention on it.
They got Friday the 13th. That's a Paramount production. Originally, I don't know who. Well, I guess now it. I don't know. Well, okay, the rights are reverted to the original owner. It was New Line Cinema for a while.
It's even worse because they had Brian Fuller written scripts, and they went, "Nah, we're not doing that."
So bad. But yeah, all the Taylor Sheridan stuff is just like gold. But anyway, 1923 ended, and it ended very suddenly because normally I expect the season to run 8 episodes. This was the 7th episode, and it was a 2-hour episode. And I realized, partway through it that I'm like, Jesus, this is a 2-hour episode. And then I thought, oh no, this must be the end. Because I thought surely they're not going to do a 2-hour episode on the 7th and then another 2-hour on the 8th. Although that would have been insane, but awesome. But they ended it with the 7th episode, and they're supposed to be slated to do 1944 and 1969. So there we go. We got more Taylor Sheridan stuff up in the pipes, all kind of following up on this Yellowstone craze that that train does not seem to be stopping anytime soon. I don't know what happened to their was it 6 Acres Ranch or whatever the hell it was. It was supposed to be 4X's, whatever. They were supposed to be doing an offshoot at a Texas ranch called like the 6X's or some shit, and I haven't heard nothing about it. I don't know if they're shooting it. I don't know if they shit canned it. I don't know, if it's still in production, if it's halted, if it's paused or whatever. But the Yellowstone stuff is the big thing. And 1923 was a good series. It had some really good actors in it. The guy who plays Spencer is amazing. Harrison Ford was great in this. Helen Mirren, so awesome in this. And man, you want to talk about somebody who has reinvented and reinvigorated their career. Helen Mirren is like in fucking everything. I mean, because she's in this, and now she's in Mobland, which is another good Paramount show, which is done by Guy Ritchie. So he's gotten back to his roots with English crime shit, and I love it. And you guys have no idea what I'm talking about because you haven't seen any of this, right?
I do.
Okay.
Guy Ritchie's entire wheelhouse. He's like the only director where the narrower his scope is as a creator, somehow the better he gets.
Mm-hmm. And when he does English crime stuff, it's the best.
I'll say no. I've somehow avoided watching any of this. I'm just getting around to discovering The Blacklist.
Oh my god.
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Like he's
Yes.
the reason you have Jason Statham.
Yeah. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is a classic. Snatch was insane. That was like one of my favorite films of all time. I don't know how many times I've watched it.
To sell you on it, basically it has Brad Pitt in it, and the joke with him is that he has such a thick accent no one can understand a single thing he says.
Mm-hmm. They're both totally worth watching, but yeah, you need to watch Guy Ritchie's crime movies. They're the best. His English crime movies are. I mean, Grimm would sell you on them too if he were here.
Best asshole old guys too. Define nemesis is like what was it?
Yes,
like, made manifest, i.e., me.
An horrible cunt made manifest. Oh my god, Savo's probably seen it a few times. She's probably like, I don't want to see it. I live this shit or something. I don't know. You could just see Savo knee deep in the English crime ring. No, I'm just kidding. Don't tune out, Savo. But Pitt is the worst part of the movie. Yeah, Boris the Bullet Dodger is really funny in that show.
Those two films are like where Statham started Stathaming.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much, that was the start of Statham's whole career, was both of those films. And really, I credit Snatch with it more so than Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. But Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is absolutely funny. It's absolutely hilarious, great. It needs to be watched. And Ironcaster, there's a whole world of cinema out there that you are like not privy to, and you really need to get immersed in because it's culturally good for you.
Okay, I just saw The Great Escape for the first time. I'm catching up, but I've also got a massive anime backlog too.
Okay.
That's cool.
You need to take a break from the anime, okay? Just stop burning your eyes out with cartoon stuff and watch some real people do shit for a little while, and you'll be impressed. I promise.
But I want to watch Space Pirates.
You can watch Space Pirates with your friends later.
The SCU,
What friends?
the Statham
Exactly.
Cinematic Universe. That's what you get it. That's the start of it.
Pretty much.
It's the Iron Man for Jason Statham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. But yeah, 1923 is awesome. 1883 is before that. It's even better. It's like the best Western I've ever watched. And then, of course, you had Yellowstone. 5 great fucking seasons. Well, some of them were better than others. 1944 is coming up. 1969 is coming up. The only thing I criticize about 1923, and I know that it kind of has its roots going into Yellowstone, but there's a whole thing about this Indian girl, Tiona Rainwater, who they show how hard it is in the damn Indian schools and stuff back there. And I'm not trying to, push your buttons there, Ironcast, or anything, but I know that shit was hard. But the thing is, they show how hard her life was in the Indian schools and how much they basically beat the shit out of her and did other stuff to her that was, definitely not to be done with children.
I don't know.
Huh?
I was going to point out. I think Bob the Odd is kind of giving me a little bit of support to stay the course.
Well, he's odd, though. Can you trust a man whose name is Odd?
I also listen to a man whose name is T-shirt.
That's also true. Yes. Okay.
No,
But anyway, yeah, the Tiona Rainwater story goes through the entire series, and distantly she is related to a character in the Yellowstone series, which is why she's in it, and I guess they just wanted to pick up her story. The biggest problem I have with it is that she just fucking murders everybody. She murders 2 nuns, and that's what starts the whole manhunt for her. And in the process of her fleeing from the law and the padre of the school trying to catch her, she ends up getting a lot of other people killed, including like her lover, the people who cared about her relatives, all these other people who cared about her, ends up getting killed because of her actions and her fleeing. And then the very end of the episode, well, I should say in the last episode, she ends up cornered by Texas Marshals, and she kills one of them. And for some reason, instead of shooting her dead right there on the spot, which would be the normal thing you'd do in law enforcement, right? I mean, somebody shoots a cop, basically, the other cops are going to blow that guy away. They take her in. She goes in front of the judge. Judge says, well, there was no witnesses, so we're going to throw this case out. And she goes free, and they basically send her packing to California. And I'm just kind of like, even if the 2 murders that she originally committed could be considered self-defense, all the other people that she killed along the way, including a damn, deputy marshal right in front of the marshal and another deputy,
if you kill a cop, you're not going to see trial. You're not going to see a trial.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be, she was shot while resisting. I
mean, what was it? Michael Dorn, that cop that went rogue and smoked a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. Same deal. It's like, oh, hey, we have him in a cabin, just suddenly caught fire.
I mean, that's the biggest criticism I have of 1923. Not to mention, her story is not directly connected to the Duttons, which is the main family line that runs all through Yellowstone. It's not connected to the Duttons until they actually, get to Chairman Rainwater, in the actual Yellowstone show. So I'm just kind of like, I'm not sure where you guys are going with this, but okay, man. I mean, it's your show. I mean, if you just needed a little bit of DEI money to help produce this thing, and you inserted this whole thing about this whole narrative about how horrible the Indian schools were and how the life of Indians back then was difficult. And okay, kudos. I mean, yes, I know it was horrible. I'm a historian. I've read that stuff. I've seen those accounts. I've talked to Native Americans who, had parents and grandparents and stuff that had to go through that shit. So I know how bad it was. And seeing it, for an audience, I can understand it too, but still.
It's a whole history that's just got swept under the rug and forgotten about.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one thing's for sure, man. Taylor Sheridan made sure that this was not forgotten for sure, because it was like right there on your screen every Sunday night. And I guess it will continue in 1944, although I don't know for sure.
So, some of the really scummy stuff that's happening is if you're like part whatever tribe, because of the casinos, because things are split, there's
Blood
people
quantum
are actually working on removing people from their tribe so that they can have a bigger piece of the casino pie.
Yeah, it's called the blood quantum level. They examine how much percentage of your blood is, whatever that tribe is, and if it isn't high enough, they exclude you from, having any kind of tribal council or tribal anything. You're basically an outsider.
They'll cut you off from your culture.
Yeah, pretty much. Ain't that something? Oh, wow. Times change, I guess.
Greed doesn't.
Nope. But anyway, speaking of greed, I'm glad you said that because, we got something here about the greedy. Let's bring this up real quick. Oh, why am I in the thumbnails? Where'd I put it? There it is. Okay, so I'm not sure if we talked about this, but yeah, apparently the Nintendo Switch 2 was canceling a lot of people's pre-orders and stuff for a price hike. And originally people were saying, it's because of Trump's tariffs. Well, they've come out and said that the tariffs were not factored into the $450 price tag of the Switch 2, which, by the way, $450 is about one of my car payments. So, guess what I'm not buying?
Look, they price point set months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And with everything right now just happens so fast in real time that everyone's quick to assume that whatever's happening now in the news is going to be related to what is being reported, and it just isn't the case. The big issue for Nintendo here is the fact that they manufacture these in Vietnam, and Nintendo's concerned about ultimately getting these consoles to the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're their biggest purchasers.
People need to understand Nintendo is not your friend. Yeah, they made your nice little childhood memory video games, but there's a reason multiple labels existed. There's a reason the Ultra line, even though it's still Konami, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles under the Ultra line because literally they limited how many cartridges you could make. That's right. You have the most successful game selling in one. And if Nintendo decided you're not going to make any more money, they could do that.
And it's worth noting that over the, even back then when we first had the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, when it was brought to the United States, Sega, when it came out, and a lot of other companies like TurboGrafx that were trying to put out games avoided bringing certain titles to the United States because they were worried about Nintendo taking legal action against them. And a prime example of that is Sunsoft, with their Mega Drive version of Batman. And I know this because I have it. I got it straight from Japan. My friend brought it to me as an import. And the reason I couldn't play it on my Genesis over here is because Sega refused to bring it over to the United States and localize it because Sunsoft had already released a Batman NES game. And they were worried about there being legal action with exclusivity.
It was so much so to the point that I believe there were some companies that created like subsidiaries just to be able to import certain games.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's right. There were Fist of the North Star games that were across multiple consoles that never made it to the United States. Or if they did, they were very, very changed up. In fact, a lot of games were changed up in order to avoid entangling themselves with Nintendo. And I'll give you one perfect example because I have this. I have Fist of the North Star on the NES. I still have a copy of it. Sega also had some Fist of the North Star games. Their first one was brought out on the Master System, and I have that. And it was heavily modified so that it did not resemble the characters or the story from Fist of the North Star because they were worried about legal action. And then later on, when the Genesis came out, the Fist of the North Star that was released on the Genesis, which I also have a copy of that, was brought out in the United States as The Last Battle. And all the names were changed, character appearances were changed, circumstances and storylines and stuff were changed in the United States version so that it would not be Fist of the North Star. So there's Nintendo for you that have that whole tradition of just, trying to clamp down on everything as hard as they possibly can.
Street Fighter 2010, the final fight, was an example of that. Like they changed it to it was something to be a Street Fighter spin-off, even though it was a completely different game originally.
Oh yeah, and it sucked.
And since you have this particular comment on screen, let's point out Nintendo is a company that does not listen to their customers.
No.
Fans have been begging for Mother 3 for 20 fucking years now. Nintendo is well aware of this. Like, there was a Robot Chicken sketch made with Nintendo basically like commissioning it just to make the joke of telling the fans, shut up about Earthbound. Shut up about Mother 3.
They're pissed because Earthbound didn't sell the first time they released it. Like, yeah, because it was a weird game to sell, but it built an audience,
Well, they had the weirdest marketing push for it because they were literally telling you this game stinks, and they would have scratch and sniff stickers that would have smell like rotten garbage.
Yep.
To sell this game.
And they were so worried about audiences not being able to figure out how to be a pretty simplistic RPG. It literally came with a walkthrough guide. I remember that.
No, they listen. If you so much as whistle those first 7 notes of Mario theme, you'll get a cease and desist on a week.
Oh God, what have you done? They're breaking down the door.
Ah! Oh no, they're gonna shut the stream down. No. Actually, I really like the star theme. Yeah, that's my favorite. But yeah, I mean, Gabe Newell has it right. $9.5 billion. Doesn't have to release shit. All he's got to do is just sit back and own Steam and profit. And that dude is living the nerd's dream, man. And yeah, he's, this meme is correct. Xbox gave up. They're not doing any more systems because there's no profitability in it. Xbox is pretty much a PC at this point. So just buy a fucking PC. PlayStation is too lazy. Yeah, PlayStation is too lazy. They're already looking to the next generation of systems because this one has already run its current cycle out with nothing to show for it, basically. And yeah, Nintendo is too greedy.
What, you didn't like the remaster of The Last of Us 2? That's
It's
the
on
game
PC.
generation, right?
I mean, I didn't buy it. If somebody wants to buy it for me, I'll play it on stream, but I'm not gonna buy it. Fuck no, I don't want it.
I just find it hilarious that they already had like a PS5 patch for the PS4 version, and they released an HD version of the game, which is already in HD in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the side by sides, and it's like you can barely tell.
No, Sony would rather take the same game and sell it to you multiple times over because they didn't make enough money because not enough people buy their exclusives.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's an exclusive. There's a Sony exclusive I desperately want, but I don't want to have to buy a Sony PlayStation just to buy one damn game. But I desperately want to get Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. And
I thought you were going to say Bloodborne.
No, I mean I would like to play Bloodborne, but not more than Lost Paradise. But yeah, I mean, well, I wish all of you guys out there in YouTube land had been in our chat the other day because I posted this and you would not believe. I mean, it's like all of my panelists. I mean, even people who don't normally come on our panel but are still involved in my show. We're coming out of the woodwork to talk about this. And let me blow it up a little bit there. Oh, stop. Hang on, wait a minute. Let me open this up this way so that I can blow it up because it's too damn small. We can't see it. Open up in my browser. Yeah. Here we go.
Like a sane person.
Here.
Yeah. I look at that and go, there's some games missing from there.
I agree.
Like, where's Baldur's Gate 3?
Come on now. It's not a JRPG. But this is, apparently RPG Madness had a contest of sorts. And they put all these games up as their entries for the best game, the best JRPG. And a lot of my favorites didn't make it. I mean, okay, honestly, I've never played Chrono Trigger. I'm sorry, I never was able to get a copy of it. It's like it sold out so fast, and we never could get another copy in.
Well, also, this is also a bit of an odd lineup because on the left side of this is all retro, and the right side is all modern games.
Yeah, that is odd.
I don't play turn-based. I thought it was more like real time, and you pause occasionally with it.
Which one?
And also the fact that we have Final Fantasy. Also, the fact that we have Final Fantasies 6 and 8.
Yeah, you have 2 Final Fantasy games on here, neither of which is 7.
6 is better.
You think so?
If I were to put this out for general audiences, I would have put 7 on here. Not because I think it's the best, but because I think the audience thinks it's the best.
Well, I mean, it's the one a lot of people remember.
Exactly. That's why you throw 7 on.
Okay. I didn't understand it was JRPG because this thing just says turn-based besties, RPG Madness. So,
that's their channel name, I believe, or their account name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, I'll look over this. A couple things that stand out to me is is Golden Sun is better than Earthbound.
I think that's reasonable. I enjoyed Star Ocean, but you know what's not on here is Xenogears.
Persona 2, Eternal Punishment.
Yeah, Persona 2. That's the one I started with Persona, and yeah, it was. Oh, look at this here. Yeah, driving. Daniel has played 6. He says 6 is much better than 7. Okay.
I still just love spreading rumors so you can buy guns at a restaurant. That's awesome.
I've never heard of Unicorn Overlord.
Well, again, the right side is modern games. Unicorn Overlord is another Square Enix game. I believe it's a Switch exclusive, which is basically Fire Emblem by another name.
Oh, and it's going up against Fire Emblem and getting beaten by Fire Emblem. I've never played a Fire Emblem game, but
I would put Awakening with the Three Houses because Awakening was like, save the series.
Mm-hmm. And then there's their new one. What is this, Metaphor or whatever? Which I heard is not bad. Octopath Traveler 2, which that one's making some waves. I don't know what is this, Shin Megami Tensei 5? So
Yep.
Why do you have Shin Megami Tensei 5 here and then you got P5? I mean, isn't it the same game?
Yes and no.
No.
Oh.
I mean, they're both by the same parent company, but they're not the same. Specifically, I believe Shin Megami Tensei is a more tactical game.
It's the same series. Persona's a spinoff. They just dropped the SMT logo from it after, was it 2?
Okay. Bravely Default 2, which I mean I've heard of, but nobody's really told me much. But see, there's a whole bunch of shit on here that should have been on here. I mean, like Wild Arms is not on here. God, what else? Grandia is not on here.
The King of all RPGs is not on here either. Pokemon.
Which one? That's not an RPG.
Yes, it is.
It's a collector game or something.
It's a role-playing game. It's got strategy. Your characters are a class, if nothing else, that you are deploying into your party to fight other monsters.
Okay, but if you're gonna call that a role-playing game, then I get to put Tactics Ogre and Shining Force on here.
Absolutely. Shining Force, I love it.
If Fire Emblem's up there, yeah, you could put that. You could put Shining Force. I mean,
Breath of Fire.
One game I would suggest that not a lot of people love, but I did was Dark Wizard for the Sega.
Oh, yeah. Sabo says Kingdom Hearts. Well, isn't Kingdom Hearts more of a platformer?
Kingdom Hearts is real-time combat, so this is turn-based.
Yeah.
No, what was it? Maybe one of the GBA ones. I think there was one that was like turn-based. I'm trying to remember.
They got
Ultra. Nice to see you, bud.
Don't forget the. Let's see.
Oh, if you're looking for some other good RPGs, the Lord of the Rings: The Third Age is good.
Oh well, the Wasteland. Wasteland 2 and 3 are great. The original Wasteland is good too, but you got to buy the remastered one because if you buy the old one, that's basically texting kind of. You might have a hard time with it.
No Phantasy Star 4.
I like Phantasy Star 4, but I know this is controversial, but I really liked Phantasy Star 3 a whole lot more than all the other Phantasy Stars. And it's just because I thought it had a really great mechanic for your next character, because whatever character you play as your main character depends on which two characters get married. So you basically have a possibility of like I think it's like 8 different endings or something like that, or 6 different endings, because of the combinations of who marries who and whose offspring is whose, and you get to see different parts of the world depending on which characters you play, and the difficulty can be pretty rough with some of those characters. But I played and got every single ending, and it was grueling, but I did it.
Oh wait, they do have Phantasy Star 4. It just, the 4 is really weird looking, so it blended in. I just saw Phantasy Star.
No, they have Phantasy Star 4. A lot of people really liked Phantasy Star 4 because they thought it was more of a return to form of 1 and a good combination of 2. A lot of people didn't like Phantasy Star 4, which is sad because I absolutely adored it. Plus, Phantasy Star 3 is what brought all the cyborgs into Phantasy Star. That was the first one to do it. So
I do think if it was redesigned better, I think Phantasy Star 2, like redone correctly, would probably be the best of them.
That one was good, and it was long, it was epic, and it was difficult, and it had one of the most crushing sequences in an RPG. I mean, I cried when Nay died. Because it's like, that's a character you love, and you can't prevent their death no matter what you do. Oh yeah, Harvest
you
Moon.
even get killed, and then you get cloned during it.
Uh-huh. Hey, Das Wolfen. Yeah, Suikoden is not on there.
Oh man, yeah.
Super Mario RPG.
Oh, that's a good one.
Star Ocean 2 had 80 plus ending. Yeah, no kidding. And plus, if they're going to put all these modern JRPGs up there, they've got to put all the modern JRPGs up there. You know.
Well, I guess the challenge becomes if you're gonna limit it. First off, we need to cut out at least a Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I mean they should have just picked one Final Fantasy and stuck with it. And I also kind of object with P5 and Shin Megami Tensei. They should have just gone with one of those. So.
Exactly.
So yeah, I don't. You know, Lunar is good, but mainly Lunar is good because of its art style and its anime nature and everything. And they are bringing out a remastered version, which I fear may suffer to wokeness. Also, they're not using the original Sega CD stuff, which is better looking. They're using the PS version of it, which is not as good looking. So,
well, was it wasn't the PlayStation version of Lunar basically like because they expanded out a bunch of things with a bunch of the characters?
Yeah, because it was like Lunar Silver Star Story Part 1 and 2, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ultra American for $5 United States. Thank you, sir, so much. Did you guys hear about the board game company that owns Zombicide failing their yearly report? Said it was due to lack of employees? Okay, the board game company that owns Zombicide is Simon, which is owned by Asmodee, which is a big board game company. And also a distributor of games. And no, I did not hear about that. If you're talking about Zombicide, then you must be talking about Simon. So Simon is failing their yearly report? I'm surprised.
Well, right now they're also languishing about all the tariff stuff going on because, well, I guess to get into that, with all the tariffs going on, we've got all these game manufacturers that were using China to make cheap parts, and Trump is basically going to war over tariffs to bring back manufacturing. And I actually do have one thing pulled up here, just to show off briefly. One of the big fears was that these tariffs are going to apply to everything across the board, and we're seeing some stuff to suggest that we might not be getting necessarily everything hit uniformly. Namely, there's talk about it not applying to books and comics. So manga and potentially RPG rulebooks could be exempt.
Yeah, that's good. Although here in Texas, there's legislation in the works that will potentially stop certain anime and manga. I'm not sure how much of it will be affected.
As I understood it, that was more about specifically AI child. Not about anime.
Right, but that's the direction that it's being kind of foisted in. So I'm not sure how that's going to land.
Yeah, I mean the issue with it is that Rebecca in Cyberpunk, she's not actually like underage. She's just a loli.
Yeah. And also everybody loves her.
Yes.
And remember they were specific about Rebecca and had to specify the lolly stays. Quote.
Yeah. That's right. I remember the lolly stays. Yeah. Yeah. And drive-through said that they raised their prices before the tariff, which they did. That even took place, and they're basically tariff-proof since their pods are printed in the USA. Yes, but like we discussed on Saturday, depending on where they're sourcing their paper and ink from, that could pose an issue. I mean, even if like Castles and Crusades, like Troll Lord Games, if they're sourcing all their materials locally in the United States, there may be a run on those inks and those papers and other things like that. So it could indirectly end up being a problem for them as well. But we'll see. I mean, I hate to speculate about all the tariff stuff right now because it's like we really haven't seen what the effect is yet.
We won't know until it happens.
Yeah.
Well, regardless of what may happen, you are going to see businesses are going to change accordingly to all this.
Mm-hmm.
And to that end, I think we're on the cusp of a fundamental shift in the landscape of all this hobby space stuff.
Yes.
And Neckbeardia has been big on it, and ever since I got one, I'm starting to really see the light of the importance of 3D printers and how that has fundamentally changed the game.
Yeah, once you have a 3D printer and the capability to print whatever you want, theft aside, because he's like, yeah, of course nobody's really stealing files, but theft aside, there's a whole world of STLs out there that are custom made just for you. And then if you have the talent to build your own, you can go into business for yourself. I mean, that's kind of Neckbeardia's side gig.
And I mean, not only that, if a lot of these companies were smart, they would open up a little shop where they could sell the files.
Mm-hmm. Well, they do. A lot of them do.
Yep. Renegade Game Studios, for example, does that with, I know, some of like the G.I. Joes and the Power Rangers. Monolith Studios does some as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you mentioned G.I. Joes because I'm going to mention that here in a moment.
Oh.
But first, I owe Ultra American a $5 video here, so let me see what am I gonna give him? How about we're British?
Oh, look at that over there!
What is it, darling?
I believe they're lesbians! Well, we're British, you see, and where we're from, lesbians don't exist.
Neither does toothpaste.
Or sunshine.
Or good food.
Or sobriety. Yeah.
Oh, look, it's a cunt.
Yes. Oh, look, it's a cunt. Yeah, I have that also. Yes, history tells us there is no escaping tariff-associated price increases. No. Yeah, that's kind of why we, had a little spat with England at one point was due to tariffs.
So
yeah, I've seen these.
Yeah, this is one I'm actually probably about to purchase and then the ability to swap these minis in for any other kind of generic RPG villains I want.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, then I could turn around and like, oh, here's a Judge Dredd. Here's like RoboCop. I can have these guys team up and fight off xenomorphs and predators.
Well, if I have a complaint about 3D printing, and it's a small one because I've painted 3D printed stuff from professional companies, and I've painted 3D printed stuff from hobby printers who were selling their, finished miniatures. And that is the hobby printer stuff. You have to assemble it yourself for the most part, unless you buy it from Hero Forge, in which case it's fully assembled. But both of them have the same problem, and that is if you drop it, you broke it.
True, but if you're printing them up, then it'll take you maybe one or two, like an hour and a half to just print a new one up.
Yeah, possibly.
Also,
or depending on how badly it's damaged, you could glue it back, but still.
Also, in addition to that, there are different filaments, there are different resins you can get that can be stronger, can be more durable. It's going to depend on the material you use, which I've kind of come to discover from working in manufacturing. We work with some similar stuff that has different densities, different different blends of material that can change what you're getting in the end result.
Well, you see this here? This here is from CMON. It's plastic. It doesn't matter how many times I drop this. This shit's not going to break. I could run over it with my car, and it would damage it, but it would not necessarily break it. So, my vote is still, to buy plastic crack, but, everybody's mileage may vary, and now that I do have car payments, I probably won't be buying very much plastic crack for a very long time, at least 7 years.
I'd say probably that my next big like RPG purchase is going to want to be the new Fabula Ultima book whenever we get a physical copy available.
Yes. Yeah, that's going to be my next purchase as well, for sure, because I really like Fabula Ultima, and we'll talk about Fabula Ultima here in a second, because I do want to bring that up. But right quick, I owe Ultra American $2, sir. Thank you very much. Being very generous tonight. I appreciate you. Debut on Saturday show when? You want to come on the Saturday show? Okay. This Saturday, we're going to have Zanzhen Dao on our show. So that'll be fun, because he's a guy in the TTRPG space. He's already interviewed Ralts. He's got his own YouTube channel. Good guy. I invited him to come hang out with us on Saturday. Ultra, if you want to come hang out with us as well, you can. Just mind your P's and Q's, and we'll get along great. Golly, well, for your generosity tonight, I'm going to give you B's.
This motherfucker eating bees! Wait, no, it's not true,
Great work.
Great work.
Great work. So yeah, I'll shoot you a link on Saturday if you like. But if you start arguing with Grim, well, he's my friend.
Is there anyone Grim doesn't argue with?
I mean, I don't really argue with him so much. I do ask him a lot of questions, especially when it concerns UK politics, because, of course, you see a lot of rabble-rousing about certain issues in UK politics. And not being very well versed in it, I usually, forward the articles to him and ask him, hey, Grim, what's this all about? And he usually explains it to me. And, I trust him to be fair about it, because he's,
Yeah, just remind him, Thatcher's dead, baby. Thatcher's dead.
Yep. I don't think he was a big fan of Thatcher either.
Zed's dead, baby.
Zed's dead.
He's a UK lefty. Of course he hates Thatcher.
Yep. Yeah, he is. And well, I'm a U.S. lefty, but apparently I'm closer to the center than most lefties, because I like my firearms. I like my video games to be completely uncensored and free of DEI. Same with my comics. Same with my movies. Same with my everything. Don't shut me down. Don't censor me. Don't take away stuff. Don't modify my crap. Don't insert the wrong people into the wrong stuff. Just make it like I enjoy it. That's all.
Yep.
Well, you just didn't become a member of the cult of woke. Like it's a religion that's taken over, and you basically have to adhere to it or you're cast out.
Right. Well, I was already cast out, so they canceled me a long time ago, so they already pretty much ensured that I would never be part of their little fun bunch. And that's fine, because I don't want to be associated with them in any way, shape, or form. I have my views, I'm on the left. I want people to have food, shelter, clothing, jobs. I want gay people to have rights. I want transgender people to have rights. I don't want them to have more rights, but I definitely want them to have the same rights as anybody else. Although the bathroom issue, I'm not really sure how to handle that one.
Yeah, those that popped up like that, sports.
Yeah, the sports one is another issue. Although I will say this, a lot of transgender, male to females kept getting into female sports. You didn't see it go the other way. There weren't a lot of female to males, wanting to jump in the boxing ring with the guys.
So how long have you been a transphobe t-shirt?
But see, I'm not a transphobe. One of my ex-girlfriend is a trans. So it's like, I'm not a transphobe. I like trans people just fine. I just, yeah, it's just not good enough,
Yeah, it's never good enough.
It's never good enough.
The goalpost is being moved while you're shooting.
Yeah. If you disagree with the party even in one thing, then you have disagreed with all of them. It's like, if you have a 1940s German at your table who has certain beliefs, then everybody at your table is also a 1940s German who has those same beliefs. And yeah, I don't get it.
You're really not wrong, because these people will say if you have 10 people and one Nazi at a table, then you have 11.
Yes, exactly. Never mind that, I have a UK lefty on my show. I have an American Indian on my show. I've had, Southwest Asians on my show. I've had women on my show. I've had everybody on my show. And I myself am a minority. So, although some people would say, oh, you're not minority enough because you're not dark enough. And I'm like, oh, are we playing like the skin game now? We just moved the goalpost. We used to be minorities, but now we're not because there's too many of us. I don't know. But I sound a lot more like a centrist Republican than left. Maybe I am. I really don't know anymore, Daniel, because it's like I didn't change my beliefs, but the groups that make all the rules changed their beliefs and therefore have moved and shifted around me. But I still believe what I believe. So, but anyway, getting back to Fabula Ultima, those of y'all who did not watch my stream of it or the Grim stream of it, you need to do that because it was really fun. And I like Fabula Ultima as a game system. I'm kind of glad I got to refresh because I would kind of like to run it myself.
I'm looking at doing the same myself now that I've actually had a chance to sit down and play with it. It's like I kind of put my OSC game up on pause and pick this up for a change.
Mm-hmm. And if you didn't notice, okay. Sorry.
Oh, for those who haven't played, what is Fabula Ultima?
Fabula Ultima is a TTRPG that emulates the JRPGs. And I mean all of them. Or actually pretty much anything Japanese or anything you can imagine. It's not too unfair to call it possibly even a low-powered superhero game in some aspects.
Is the real bad guy the church all along and yet killing God?
Well, no, that's the thing. Because everybody takes part in the creation of the world, as we did on the previous show, you kind of determine what kind of world it's going to be. So it's whatever you want it to be. And Ultra American, if you want to drop in and play Fabula Ultima with us on a Sunday, talk to Grim Jim. He's happy to have drop-in players. So that's what Reagan said. The Dems left me. Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of what I say too. But my character in Fabula Ultima, if you didn't notice, is a little strange because all of my abilities depend on whatever I'm doing at the time. All of my delicacies that my gourmet part makes are random. So I have no idea what the effect is going to be. Once I've determined whatever an effect is going to be, that stays permanent. But until I do, everything I mix is going to have a random effect, and it's not always effective in combat against bad guys. Sometimes it's better for the party. And likewise, since I'm also playing an ace of cards, my hand determines how effective I am in combat. Like, the first combat I got into, I kept drawing stuff that was good for combat, like for attacking. So I kept playing all my attack stuff and burning through my mana points really, really fast. Whereas in the second combat, everything I was drawing in my hand was all about healing. And I was kind of like, well, nobody's getting hurt that much. And every delicacy I'm putting together is already a healing benefit type thing. So it's kind of like I'm just like, overloaded on healing stuff in this combat.
Yeah, he chose to add in the extra element with a additional class that lets him use a deck of cards to get to play up this gambler idea.
Mm-hmm.
So it works hilariously because there's this innate joke there that it's a little bit of a gamble with whatever he cooks up. You don't know if it's going to be good for you or not.
Yeah, whatever I cook up, it may or may not be good for you. It may be bad for your opponent. Same thing with whatever I draw from my hand. It's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. So, but one thing is for sure, I have a lot of fun. But I'll tell you what, I was burning through mana points really, really fast as the ace of cards. So I was glad to have a backup as the gourmet, because that doesn't cost me mana points. It does cost me ingredients, which is kind of like mana because you can only have so much. But considering, how much you can do, I mean, 'cause if we put it in point terms, I can have 55 ingredients on hand at all times. And the average cost of one of my delicacies that I whip up is 2 points. Now I can do 3 if I really want 3 effects, but for the most part it's 2 points. So I can either get lots and lots and lots of casts. The problem is the effect is completely random. So, once it's determined what those ingredients do together, then I can keep that permanently, and that becomes, I can rely on that forever. But, it's very possible I could end up with nothing but all healing and all status removing effects on my character, and just have to rely on my ace of cards to do all my damage, which I don't always come up with a hand that does damage. Sometimes I come up with hands that do healing. So it is kind of fun, though. I mean, I'm definitely, I don't think I'm a combat-oriented character. I think I'm more of a support class.
I have no idea what I would make because I don't know the classes, so...
Well, that's the thing. That's the nice thing. I mean, you got so many books worth of classes. You have online homebrew classes that you can use. There are special classes that are available directly from their website, and the quirks that you pick up can modify your things quite a bit. It's an absolutely fun game. If you are a person who likes the superhero genre or the comic book genre, if you like the anime genre or the manga genre, you have to try this. And even if you're just somebody who just likes, good fantasy, you can play it as a really good, Dungeons and Dragons alternative. And you'll honestly have more fun with it because it's easier. It looks complicated, but it's very quick, very easy to learn. And yeah, I mean, I can't say enough good things about it. I mean, now granted, part of the fun is, the GM and how prepared they are to do things with you. But I like the way the party plays together with the bonds. I like the way that the characters all play. I mean, I felt a little annoyed at first because I thought, oh man, we got one guy in the party who's really playing some overpowered characters. But then I started thinking, is he though? Yeah, basically it's Ryu.
Mm. So I thought I would just pull up just one of the fan classes just to give an example.
He really wanted me to play this. And I may still. I may still play this.
Because that is one of the fun things with Fabula Ultima is you are set out from the very beginning to take multiple classes to kind of make your own original, character. Like, oh, this character is, for example, one of my characters is both this like wayfinder navigator, and he's a sharpshooter.
Mm-hmm.
And
comes in handy.
His big thing he can do right now is shoot ranged bullets out of the air. So he can basically take his pistol and shoot your shot out of the air, and save an ally.
He did, which he did in the very first combat, which I appreciated very much. But yes, the first rule of the game is you start at level 5, and you must choose from a minimum of 2 classes. Doesn't matter what they are. And the thing is, every single class has a skill or has many skills. You choose which skills you want at each level. Every time you gain a level, you gain another skill. If you really, really wanted to, if you wanted to keep track of it, you could literally choose a skill from every single class across all of the published and homebrewed stuff. Just like you could with, well, you really couldn't do it with Dungeons and Dragons, but you kind of could with Pathfinder. But it doesn't. The difference between this and Pathfinder is this doesn't seem metagamey so far.
It's really set up to kind of act more like a JRPG insofar as you're effectively can have just the players basically have the lineup with them on both sides. Or we just like, oh, and then you get into a fight, and then you got to fight like the henchman,
and then you fight the bosses, and you have a lot of things that swing back and forth in your favor, like the Ultima points and the Fabula points. The book is really getting a physical copy of the book can be difficult if you're looking for it locally, because I hear it's sold out a lot of places. Your best bet is to order it from Need Games if you want a physical copy. Otherwise, DTRPG will sell PDFs. Look at that. Yeah, the high fantasy one's already sold out. The techno fantasy one's really good, but the high fantasy one is awesome. And the core rule book, of course, is good. The Game Master's Toolkit, not necessary, but useful. The Press Start actually is very useful. It's free, by the way, if you get the PDF, unless you just want a physical copy. But Press Start is useful because it shows you how to build characters, and it explains it kind of blow by blow how everything works. So it is a really good quick start intro to the game.
Are there like alchemists? Like I'm almost thinking you might want to make like an Elric type character.
There is alchemists. And you could be a sword master too. So yeah, you could totally do that. And like I said, you're not just limited to 2 classes. You have to have a minimum of 2 classes. But you can pick and choose skills from as many classes as you want to keep track of. So, if I wanted to pick, 5 different skills from 5 different classes, I totally could. I just, I kind of want to stick with some of my core stuff, like, Gourmet and Ace of Cards, because that's where I'm focusing right now. But as I'm finding out, my character is lacking in offense at the moment, or I should say steady offense. So for my next level, I am probably going to pick up some sort of a combat class skill.
Well, even then, it's really built up in a way that you can really focus in on that one thing you want, but then you still have the rest of the party that can help balance you out.
Mm-hmm. And yes, Salvo, it does get the most out of your pile of dice. Absolutely. We use quite a bit of them.
I mean, generally speaking, everything you're doing is a roll of 2 of your stats.
Uh-huh.
So it'll be like
D8, D6, or 2 D8s, or D12, or actually D10, D8, or 2 D10.
6. The 6 you would want to have at least 2 6s, 8s, 10s, and 12s, and maybe a D20.
Yeah, we had one person in the party, I think, who used D20s last time. He was the only. I mean, they're very rare, but I mean, even the D12 is going to get a little bit of use eventually.
So as an example, with this skill here, Ritual Chimerism, you would choose like 2 of your stat combos, either Insight and Willpower or the Might and Willpower, and that's a lot of times what'll happen. In fact, sometimes you might be having to do a pure strength check, like you want to lift a heavy door, in which case it would be your Might and your Might.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all going to depend on how you want to argue it with the 4 stats. But, I mean, generally speaking, it's going to be pretty obvious once you kind of get into it to understand what you should be rolling and what the storyteller is going to tell you that you should roll.
Yeah, and there is no charisma equivalent stat. So you don't have one super stat that you can use to influence people or, sex them up or whatever. You're just going to have to rely on your role-playing skills for that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no bard shortcut there. Although I think they do have a bard class in there somewhere. I would be really shocked if they didn't.
Probably orator.
Orator is very similar. But yeah, if you're looking for a game and you're free on Sundays, join us online with Grimm's Fabula Ultima game. He's still taking players. We'd love to play with you. Come learn it with us. Come have fun. But anyway, I think that's pretty good for tonight, guys. What do you think? We had plenty of positive things, plenty of negative things, plenty of things.
Things, Dak. Things.
It felt pretty good.
What were you going to say? Yeah, it felt pretty good. So, all right. Y'all take care for the rest of Tuesday night and for the rest of the week. And we will see you on Saturday when we have Yenzen Zhao as our guest and also possibly the Ultra American TTRPGer. We're just getting guests. Guests are cool. And if you want to be on here, let me know because I'd be happy to get you on. Daniel, you ready to come hang out with us on Saturday? Let me know. All right, guys. Well, y'all take care. We'll see you Saturday.
Yay.
Bye.